When Qimir shows up, he has a presence to him that sucks all of the air out of the room. Saul even says, "What are you?" They're scared of him. Doesn't Jecki say, "What is that?" Every single Jedi in that scene is scared of Qimir simply just being there. He floats out of the sky, he's got the red lightsaber, and then he force pushes everybody out of the way, bests several of them in a duel all at once. He's a powerful figure that shows up out of nowhere, and that presence is important with the Sith, but that's not what makes him great in my book. It's all of the dialogue that stems from that and how he toys with the Jedi, how he then develops a relationship with Osha, who was once a Jedi, to pull her to his side.
He's almost like the perfect combination of every Sith, every villain we've seen come before. He's intelligent and planning and manipulating like Palpatine and Maul, pulling the strings behind the scenes. Even when we meet him in the shop in the second episode, he has everything planned out.
He says, "Don't do that mind trick thing on me that I heard you guys do." And he knows exactly how to do that mind trick to the nth degree. And then when they're fighting, "Oh, you don't remember me?" So he's got that perfect two-face of, "No, I don't know anything. I actually know more than you."
That's something we've never really seen a Star Wars villain do other than Maul in Rebels when he meets Ezra. He's this fumbling old man. He says, "You can call me Old Master." And then he breaks out his saber and he's Maul again. We never really see anyone undercover besides Palpatine. Palpatine tricked the entire galaxy. Qimir tricked however many people he tricked by being that shopkeeper, but it was such ground level stuff that was so intriguing to the audience and paid off so well, I think, later. That was an incredible reveal. When they're fighting and he's saying stuff like, "You don't remember me?" Saul is like, "Take off your mask." And he's like, "So you can read my mind?" No, no, no. Just those lines, very menacing presence, very scary, and just messing with people's minds in that way, right? It's not only his fighting style and his abilities, he's scary looking and he's scary sounding, the voice modulator. It's the same with Vader, whereas every ounce of his presence is menacing.
The presence is perfect. And then the dialogue is the cherry on top. And I think his dialogue, it's better in some ways than Palpatine and Vader, the way that he's trying to coerce Osha to come to his side. Palpatine says, "I'll come to the dark side and you'll learn these powers." And eventually he says, "We can learn this together." But he tricks Anakin to falling to the dark side and he can't even deliver on the potential promises. Vader says, "Come join me and we'll rule the galaxy as father and son," which is not at all. Luke wanted to know who his father was, but he didn't have ambitions of ruling the galaxy and overthrowing the Emperor. But with Qimir, he wants to empower Osha. It's all in her best interest, in her own decision. You can stay, you can go, whatever you want. And we all want to be empowered, and maybe to some degree Palpatine and Vader are doing that to, Luke and Anakin. Qimir does that on a much more fundamental human level, if you can call it that.
Yeah, and we see other characters try to do that for Osha. And it's incredible that, from my perspective, this bad guy is the one that I believe the most. I do think he's manipulating her. We saw Indara fail at trying to protect Osha. We saw Saul fail at trying to protect Osha. We saw Mother Anastasia fail at trying to protect Osha. And Qimir then comes in and says, "It's your power in the Force. Someone should teach you that." All of this stuff is lifting her up. He leaves her alone with the helmet. Learn to trust yourself. You shouldn't trust me, but you should trust yourself. He is the only one that we have seen been that for Osha.
So far, he's the only Star Wars villain that seems to really care about his apprentice.
Yeah, and what you're saying, with Palpatine saying the dark side is the path to power, some might find unnatural. Vader saying we'll rule the galaxy as father and son. It's what each of them want, right? We know Anakin was there should just be one person in control making all the decisions. And as Vader, he's saying to Luke, we could be those people making all the decisions. Palpatine wants to live forever, so he's recruiting his apprentice based on that. Qimir does want something. He wants the power of two. We don't know necessarily what that means yet.
It will be interesting to see what happens in a potential season 2 if Qamir's true intentions come out and he really is just using Osha in this empathetic way to then overthrow his master like every other Sith does. That's their destiny. That's the thread that they pull. But right now, that's not the Qimir that we know.
Yeah, we know the destiny of the Sith as far as the power of two is to kill or be killed. My hope is that Qimir and Osha fall in love and fly away off to the stars and escape all this trouble and turmoil, but who knows if that's going to be the case.
Joey, I ship them too. We didn't give Count Dooku any love on this, but he's also kind of cool and has some interesting ideals. Hey, watch the Tales of the Jedi episode. I think maybe he is kind of empathetic there when he's speaking about Qui-Gon and even to Yaddle. And then if you want to go all the way to Kylo, he's just a big baby. That's a story for another day. Let us know who you think the best Star Wars Sith is down in the comments. Make sure to hit subscribe and tune in for more nerdy pop culture, but mostly Star Wars. And thanks for listening to the show today.